What's going on, guys? Pretty smooth week in the markets. We ended a little early due to the holidays, but there were plenty of opportunities and more to come. Let's jump right into the charts and see what we can prepare for the week to come. All right, guys, so we'll be marking up a couple charts here, starting with gold as usual. So we'll start with top-down analysis and we'll see where we currently are right now. So with gold over here, starting from a weekly time frame, we still remain at this area of resistance over here. So I'm going to draw this area of resistance so it's a little clearer. And where current price is, it is approaching that level of resistance that we had a couple touches at before. Okay, so this level of resistance also happens to be the all-time high for gold. So that's very significant because if we get to that level again, something major is going to happen once we get up here. Either we're going to get a big drop as we have gotten before, all right? Or we're going to get a new high. And where does that high lead to? We don't know, because this will be a brand new high for gold, an all-time high. So as price approaches this area, we need to be on the lookout because a big move could be brewing. Okay, so let's go down to the daily. On the daily time frame, still looking very similar. We are still on this uptrend over here, all right? So we can keep that in mind, but I'm still looking for areas of support and resistance. Okay, so I see a couple more areas here as I look on the daily. So this area, previous area of resistance, I'll drag that across, and there's another area of resistance as well and turned into support over here. So it was an area of resistance in this area over here and then turned to a level of support right over here. One more area of support down here, and that's that. All right, so now let's go to the 4-hour to see what else we can be making out here. Okay, so with current price right now, so price broke this level of resistance on the 4-hour, and now it is retesting back to that level. So it was once an area of resistance over here and over here, and now currently turning into an area of support. So what we want to do is we want to see how price behaves as it approaches this level. Is it going to give us a continuation on this up move so we get this impulsive move? This would be the retest, and then will we get this continuation to the upside, or are we going to break down even further? As this was a strong area of support over here, are we going to come back to this area of support and then see what price does from there? Okay. Either way, when we're looking for our previous low is going to be right around here. So long as price does not break this area, we're still valid for the up move. You can probably take a look at this area on the 1 hour and you can see that this was a low on the 1 hour, and that is very much valid. However, if we're talking about a higher time frame perspective, 4-hour daily, then technically the previous low is going to be this level over here. So it just depends. It can break the 1-hour low, but it doesn't mean it breaks the 4-hour low. So on a higher time frame perspective, the overall move may still be valid for an up move. So now on the 1 hour, this is what price has done previously. So on the 1 hour, as we broke through, we had this ascending channel. And again, an ascending channel, what you're going to see is the candlesticks start to become smaller within this channel and they start to lean upwards. And that is a popular reversal pattern for the move to the downside. And that's exactly what price did. Coming from this channel, we got a break from this channel. We got a retest back to the channel, which we could see clearer on the 30-minute. And from there, we got our continuation to the downside, okay? So although this looks like a downtrend, now it could easily look like a downtrend on the 30-minute, right? I know you see the downtrend over here on the 30-minute, and you could see that, probably say that it's a downtrend on the 1 hour as well. But what we need to keep in mind is that on an overall scale, on an overall level, this whole move that happened out of the channel could just be a retest on the higher level time frame. Okay, so if we look at the 4-hour, this just looks like a retest for the continuation to the upside. Okay, so that's what we want to look for. Look for opportunities for buys. But again, if we break through this level, of support over here, then we want to look for opportunities for sales, possibly from this level to the next level over here, which is about a little over 200 pips. Okay, definitely opportunities that are lining up, but just got to be prepared for them. But I'm starting to see some good structure for a possible buy opportunity, but we'll see how price action treats us as the market opens. Okay, so that is gold. So by special request, we are going to mark up the S&P 500. So we are on the S&P 500, and again, we're going to do top-down analysis as customary. So from a weekly perspective, we are also at an area of resistance. So right over here. So I'm going to take this, drag it all the way across. And if you look at where price is currently, we are at an area of resistance over here. Okay, previously price came up here. Big move to the downside, came back up here, another move to the downside, and came a third time, another move to the downside. This is the fourth time we are revisiting this area, and we're going to see what price does. Going down to the daily, our next level of resistance possibly is going to be up here, right over here, and we could see the wicks from this area got to this level before it finally made its move to the downside. Okay, but that's going to be the next area of resistance. May not be a major area of resistance, but it's still a significant area that price can get to and reverse. Okay, now even if you extend this area across, you're going to see how important this area is when we talk about price action. So if we extend this area, and let's see where it was significant in the past, let's check that out. Keep extending that area. You're going to see that this same area was once an area of support for price. Price broke through, became an area of resistance. Price came back down, came back to this area, broke it a little bit, but became significant again. Okay, so this is the power of support and resistance. These are why these areas are important and why we need to pay attention to them. Let's go down to lower time frames. So now as we look at lower time frames, we see a clear uptrend on the 4-hour. And now we want to see what starts to happen as price gets back to this level. So we got to this level, right? Big impulsive move. We got a retest down here, and now price is going back up to this level. Now, a couple of things can happen. We can form a double top. So this is another area of resistance that can form within this higher level time frame area of resistance, of course, again. So we have a lower level area of resistance within that bigger level area of resistance. Okay, so another indication that we can reverse for the downside. Now, if we break through, then our next target is going to be this area of resistance up here. Okay, so we have to see what price action is giving us. We know we're heading back up towards this area over here where price dropped previously. Now, as it gets back to this area, what is price going to do when it gets to this area right over here? Is price going to drop again, especially with the extra confluence of this double top? Or will it be able to break through and come to this area of resistance? So if it breaks through, then we want to look for possible areas of retest and then continuation to the upside. So if I go down to a lower time frame, what I want to see happen is after the breakthrough, then I get a retest before I take my buy to the next area of resistance. And if we're looking at the amount of pips we could possibly get from that area, one area to another, we have about 272 pips, definitely a worthwhile trade. Okay, but for the sell side, which is looking a bit clearer than the buy side, at least right now, for the sell side, what we want to see after we get that push up to this area, let's see if we get a significant impulsive move, especially a move that can pass this area, this previous low. Again, we say the previous low, once it's broken, that's the indication that we're on a reversal. So let that area break and then wait for that retest, get that retest, and then we take our sell back to the downside. Okay, so possible TPs. So this could be a TP1 right over here because this was a previous area of support right here for price. That could be a TP1. TP2 could be right when we hit the trend line, especially since it lines up with this area of previous support as well. Okay, so TP2 could be us hitting that trend line a little past the trend line, but that would be TP2. Now, if we completely break the trend line, then we have a ways to go. Okay, there is a slight area of support over here, very true, but we still have quite a ways to go before a significant area of support all the way down here. So when we talk about the S&P 500, plenty of opportunities if price starts to break down to really capitalize on what price is doing. Now, again, if price continues to rise, then yes, there's a significant opportunity to the upside, but I definitely like the downside opportunity if price presents itself that way. All right, so that's the S&P 500. Let's go to GJ. All right, we're on GJ right now. So let's mark up GJ starting with the weekly. So from a weekly perspective, we can see that we are on this downtrend as of recent, right? Big impulsive move to the downside, and we are on this retest. Okay, so depending how you look at it, so being that this is a weekly, it's easily going to look like we're on an uptrend on the lower time frames. But if you're looking at the overall picture, we are on a downtrend, and this is just a retest to that downtrend. But let's look for significant areas of support and resistance as well. So I'm going to mark down all the areas of significance that I see, plenty of wicks as well. And we're going to see how significant these areas become. Okay, so areas of support, areas of resistance, and then we're going to go down to lower time frames to see if we can find some more. I think this was a significant area of support, came all the way across to become an area of resistance, and we'll see how significant that becomes as the market opens up. All right, and also this area of support over here. Other than that, that's what I'm seeing of significance so far. Oh, one more area up here, area of resistance. And technically we could say this was an area as well. Seems like we got quite a couple of touches in this area as well. Okay, so down to the 4 hour now. Now on the 4 hour, things are looking a bit clearer. So we got to this area of resistance over here. Price rejected. And as price rejected, we got a big move to the downside, big impulsive move to the downside. So from that move now, we are on a retest. We are on a retest of that move. Now, are we going to get a continuation to the downside? That's what we want to look for as the market opens up. Are we going to get that continuation on the downside? Structurally, this looks good. Nice impulsive move downwards. Retest. Candlesticks are getting weaker as we go farther to the upside, so it does look good for continuation to the downside. So I do like that trade. You do want to look out for this area. This does resemble a head and shoulders. Okay, so price can possibly come up here even and complete that shoulder before it gives us that drop. Okay, so that could be a possible opportunity before we get a move to the downside. Now, moves to the upside, possible moves to the upside. If we do get some kind of move to the upside, then what we should be looking for is what price does as it gets back up here and makes a double top. It's probably going to drop when it gets to this area, especially because of this extra confluence of this double top, or are we going to get a break of that area of resistance and then head to the next area and wait for a break and retest? So again, we know same deal, wait for that break and retest if we break that area before we take the continuation to the next zone. But that's what it would be if we got the move to the upside. However, structurally, things are lining up for the move to the downside. I think that's the more popular move, and I see more opportunities for that. So you want to prepare for that. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for GJ. So plenty of opportunities, no matter how you slice it. Opportunities in the commodities, opportunities in the indices, and opportunities in the regular Forex pairs, right? Depending on what you're trading, be prepared. You also want to continually mark up even in the middle of the week, all right? So I know a lot of people mark up on the weekends, but in the middle of the week, you want to have one more markup session because the market would have moved and maybe your bias and maybe your markups from the weekend become invalid. So having a markup in the middle of the weekday could be very, very helpful in making sure you're on top of what's going on and capitalizing on the moves towards the end of the week. All right, so guys, let's take advantage of these opportunities. NFP also happened this past week. Was kind of underwhelming because it happened on the same day as Good Friday. But don't be surprised if you see a continuation of the effects of NFP as the market opens up. I've seen that before, especially if there aren't enough traders in the market to make that push with price, depending on what the news results were. You can see that push as the market opens up. So don't be surprised if you see big movements between Sunday and Monday, or even a big gap as we open up on Sunday. All right, so let's trade safe, guys. Let's continue the momentum. Let's keep making this money, and let's continue to be profitable. So until next time, Jordan the Maestro, peace.